Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Juvohub podcast, episode 42. We're very grateful to have an industry veteran with us today. So we're looking forward to having a great conversation about concessions and making them very special. Before we introduce him, Mark, how are you today? My fantastic co-host. What's new in the world?
I'm great, buddy. Thanks for having me again. Yeah, I'm excited about having Rick on the show. So excited to get started.
Yeah. So Rick, you're almost, as I say, episode 42. We probably should have had you in episode 41 because, 41 plus years in the industry. I mean, that's amazing. So before we get into the topic of, I love your blog. I love how your take on specials is one of the main reasons why we wanted to have you on here today to help educate our community. Where are we at with specials and concessions and so on? But 41 years in the industry, that's amazing, amazing. Can we get a snapshot of what that career has looked like?
And it almost is 42. So this is appropriate, episode 42. Yeah, okay, it'll work. I was a young preacher, pastor boy out in California when one of my parishioners said he had an apartment complex in Dallas, Texas that needed management. And my wife at the time was getting into nursing school and actually got into one near Dallas. And so it was a perfect time for a move. And I thought I'd do that for a couple of years maybe. And here I am 41 plus years later.
Wow.
So I started managing multifamily on site, grew with the company to a portfolio of about 6,000 units, and then left and went on my own as a consultant. And I've been providing all kinds of marketing and training and due diligence to property management companies since '85.
Incredible.
Amazing. Yeah. And I was trying to think, you were one of the first people that I met. I know probably at NAA or something along that line when I first got into the industry. And, I've always appreciated your contributions to the industry. You've been on so many different speaking panels, speaking for NAA. You recently attended NAA. How was that? How was the atmosphere, the mood? How did everything go?
I think people were so glad just to be together, and to be somewhere live. The speakers were excited. Some of the speakers actually hadn't presented to a live audience for 18 months or more. Mm-hmm. And so they were, ecstatic. It was a much bigger turnout than I expected. I went to a number of different seminars and all of them were good. The McCormick Center in Chicago is massive. It's really cool, but it's a hike no matter where you go. So that was fun. And we had a couple of really good keynotes. So all in all, I think it was great. I think the vendors got a good, group of folks checking out what they're doing. The conference exhibition hall was, again, it was massive. It was almost overwhelming. But yeah, we had a great time. And Chicago is a great city to have a conference.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, hopefully soon it'll continue to be a little bit easier with restrictions and traveling. And so I know a lot are nervous, but I'm so glad that you were able to attend. And I lived vicariously through social media, through Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, seeing all the pictures. So good. Glad you were able to go. So for our topic today, I've been listening to a couple of different shows over the last few months. I was on Clubhouse actually 4 months ago where this topic came up about concessions and like what's happening, making specials with all of the challenges that are in the current market. So that's what we want to talk to you about. Like you have an expression, Rick, that you've used, like make your special special. So what does that mean? Can you kind of give us what's your perspective and take on concessions and specials in the market today?
Well, specials sometimes are just thrown out there like something that's not even that important or that's just expected. And it really, ruins the whole idea of having a special. A special needs to be something that's not only an accommodation, but even a surprise, in terms of maybe closing a deal. And that's why, I call it making your special special. It's kind of funny how some people, almost self-righteously say, oh, specials are so bad. We never have specials. And bless your heart if you don't. But specials aren't good or bad. They're really determined by the marketplace. And those folks that say they never have specials, they've never offered specials, I guarantee you they're in a market that's never been special driven. We respond to the marketplace, and sometimes the marketplace demands some sort of concession, some sort of discount. Right now, things are pretty hot. I even confirmed this when I was in Chicago. Traffic is up, prospects are out looking. And so that may, dictate a different kind of special, or as I say, a special that doesn't cost you anything. I'm a big believer in specials, even when you don't need the discount. And we'll talk about that more in a minute, but there's a way to have, or to create an accommodation for somebody that makes them feel special without giving away much or anything at all. If you don't mind me going on, specials really are for two reasons, either to create traffic or to close traffic. And sometimes people get that mixed up. I mean, the last thing you want to do is hang out a special on your banner in front of your apartment community or on your website if you have sufficient traffic.
Right.
Then you've blown the special. And no longer is it a surprise. No longer is it a special accommodation just for that prospect. Now it's just something that everybody gets, which is not special, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other type of special, and I saw some of this, especially during the pandemic, and it's lessened to some extent, but in some markets still, where there is a lot of new construction and a lot of competition, like Dallas-Fort Worth, and like Philadelphia. I think even Atlanta. Mm-hmm. There now may be a case where you've got to include some kind of incentive to get even the initial contact, the initial email, the initial online inquiry. And that's the kind of special that's used for helping to create and drive traffic versus helping to close deals. And they go hand in hand, and I think they're always moving, you're always adjusting and tweaking. And that's again why specials have to be carefully monitored and really used in a way that doesn't give away something that you didn't need to give away.
Okay. I like that. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
No, I like what you're saying. It is one of those things that I think has plagued our sales people in this industry for so long. We used to get so comfortable with the idea of having a special, and when I say comfortable, almost dependent on the special to close the deal. And there's been so many times when I try to explain to leasing consultants, and I think it's important that as property managers and as a team, we discuss what giving specials away does to the bottom line, to the value, right, of what we're trying to accomplish. Because a lot of times when we're not explaining the financial piece of our business to our salespeople, they're always just like, how do you expect me to get all these leases if we're not giving specials? And I used to say, sure, don't stop worrying about the special, like upsell, focus on the value of the product. But it's funny, there are so many different ways that you can get someone interested in what you call a special. Like you said, make it special. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be money. It could be a, free paint or accent wall or something like that, or a service, sure, of some kind. So I like what you're saying. I like this.
Well, and before you even offer a special, I think you've got to ask yourself some questions. Maybe a property supervisor looks at the operations of some properties that he or she is supervising and says, it looks like we need some kind of incentive. Well, before you do that, discuss it with the staff, find out if the basics are in place. Do they have, the people, product, price, promotion? Make sure that people part of your marketing is in place and the product is right. the price is right before you start with the special or the promotion side of it. So I always want to, ask the staff, do you see a problem? Or could the staff be the problem? And then, of course, shop it and train and see if the staff is doing the basics. Like you said, Mark, are they even asking for them? Are they creating value? Or are they sufficiently demonstrating the property? You want to even create training scripts. I'm a big believer in scripts, not reading the scripts, but having something to learn and defer from. And you may want to create some scripts for your staff for handling objections or dealing with some of the issues they feel like are preventing them from getting a prospect to commit. And then, of course, shop your biggest competitors. That's really a shame. I mean, if you're sitting there and just feeling so superior that you just flat won't offer a special when your four biggest, nearby competitors are given a month free, that's just not good management. I mean, you've got to respond to that in some way. So, all those are things you do before you begin to offer specials. And again, you decide if a special is used to secure a move-in, then how do you position it? Every special has got to produce value, I think. And by that, it means that if you're offering specials, it should get you people in the door and into apartments faster. If it doesn't, you're just giving away, the owner's money.
That's right.
So I'm glad you brought that around to that, Rick, because I had a question on a bunch of things that you mentioned. So training and shops. So what does that look like? Because like market changes all the time. Are you perhaps kind of putting it in the sphere of like, you have to have something in your back pocket, so to speak? Or is it something that leadership has to constantly, in the case of like a script, so to speak? All right, so here's our special for the month. Don't offer it unless it's needed, and this is how you go about doing it. Is that the kind of like training methodology that needs to constantly be in place from leadership to on-site teams?
Oh yeah, I mean, and not just even offered on a script, but practiced.
Mm-hmm.
And it's simple. It doesn't take a 3-day conference. It takes maybe 30 minutes of a give and take. Well, in a special sometimes, especially on the high-end properties, you give a month free. You're giving away $2,500, $3,000, and then you won't pay a little money to have your folks trained. I mean, think about how much money you could save. Tens of thousands of dollars by just training online professionals to not even not use specials, but to offer less special than the guy next door and still win. And that's that training is, it just kills me when people don't understand how cheap training is, what a great investment it is compared to the kinds of discounts we sometimes offer, needlessly. And I think also when it comes to training, you do need to look for people that truly are sales personalities. I know this is a little controversial at times, but there's human beings that were born to sell, and they are going to be your best salespeople. They're harder to manage. I know, I get it. They don't do their paperwork right. They're flamboyant, and that's exactly who you need leasing your property. My company does contract leasing. And I'm telling you, this is not just something I've heard, but I live it every day. My wonderful contract leasing folks, who are incredible leasing machines, they are so hard to manage sometimes. I love them, but that's the personality type that does great at leasing. And so that's really also, I think, a different issue in some ways, but that's part of the problem sometimes. You end up offering a special, but really what needs to happen is you need to tweak the on-site team and give them better skills, or better ways of dealing with objections and with prospect traffic.
Right.
I agree with that. I think that it's also the timing of when you offer the special. For me, look, let's face it, the average consumer today has obviously gone online. They've looked at your floor plans, they've looked at your availability, they know your prices. It has been said that many consumers today, they're looking for the deal. Like they want to show up and say, what's your deal? I've been up and down apartment row all day. I know what their deal is. What are you going to give me? And to me, it's kind of like when you should offer that deal to sweeten the deal or to get the excitement about it. It kills me when I'm calling properties and I'll ask, how much is a 2-bedroom going for? And they just sort of regurgitate everything all in one sentence. It's like there's nothing left for you to negotiate with. You've vomited your negotiating power all over your table, and now there's nothing for us to really talk about. For me, it's the when. When should you wait and offer that? A good salesperson, in my opinion, gets you in, they draw you in, they reel you in, they get you interested in the product, coming out, get that appointment, and then they slap you with some of those good specials. But I agree with you, Rick. I think that when you spend time cultivating that type of passion or energy amongst your leasing teams, that's when you see those types of different results. Otherwise, you won't. And believe it or not, I don't know what it is, but I feel like in some cases when I'm calling and shopping properties, there's like this laziness to it, and you may have a great special and you're not even excited about your own special. I don't get it.
Well, I hope that's more a lack of training than laziness.
Yeah.
I really do believe sometimes some leasing professionals just come across lackadaisical almost because no one has said, this is how you present. You actually get animation in your voice and you stand up and you show excitement, and you show that this is really something that's valuable. One thing I wanted to mention is there's a couple rules that I always follow, when offering apartment leasing concessions. And these are important. So strategically, first of all, you only offer specials on specific unit types. I can tell you right now, I could drive in any city where there's a 1 month free on their banner on the building or on their website. And we could walk in the door and show 4 or 5 apartments that you don't need to offer a month free. Just recently, it was in Philadelphia. I don't need to name the property, but one of our competitors had, a month free, and they were offering a month free on their top level corner unit that overlooked the city. I was thinking, oh man, you're stealing money from the owner. You ought to be offering a premium instead. They just weren't thinking. And it happens. So first of all, no automatic across the board concessions. That's crazy. You strategically offer, and you might even do this. You might even offer half a month on the top level or something, if you had to offer a concession, but it's worth more. Focus on floor plans with the excessive vacancies and notices, obviously, not on one that you've got one coming up in 3 months. And then of course, updated units. There's a lot of that going on right now, a lot of value-added renovation. Move prospects to those updated inventory with higher prices and maybe a special, and be strategic about how you position those for leasing. The other rule, first is, don't offer specials on every unit. The other one is never give away something without getting something.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's, this is business. This is not church. It's not heaven. It's not Disneyland. All those things are better. This is business, right? And we're here to make money. So, if nothing else, extend the lease. You see that, you got your special on a 13-month lease. Require commitment, and move in deadline. And of course, that's a simple one, but we're not going to give too much free on a unit that's coming up, next November. And then, of course, a lot of folks are doing this. We don't do this at every property. We don't always have the control to do this, but in my own little company, we manage single family homes here in Dallas-Fort Worth. But when we've had to offer specials, we get that little concession addendum that states that they'll pay back the concession if they break their lease. And you know something? We don't even mention that, guys, until we're signing the lease. And by the way, you know, here's our concession addendum. You know, we know you won't break the lease, but if you had to, we'd have to get you to pay back this concession. So, you know, rule number one, offer specials only on specific unit types. Rule number two, never give away something without getting something. And what we're wanting to see on a concession is we're wanting people to move in faster, right? And that produces income faster. That's the whole point. You know, if a concession will not make any difference in the acceleration of the move-in, then you're giving away money you shouldn't give away.
So I like how you've kind of like put this all together into just an amazing package, because it's like, if I was a leasing professional and the people across the street were offering that 1 month free, that would be intimidating to deal with. Like, okay, well, my company's not offering that, but there's just so many other items that are available to continue to show value. And if I'm hearing you right, Rick, this isn't just a one-time training class. Like, this is something that would need to be trained on often, reminded of, reinforced, role playing. It's not something that you can just put in front of a leasing professional as a class and say, in 2 years from now, we're going to address it again. Does that sound about right? Like, how do you feel about the whole process, and knowing that no matter where we are, on-site, corporate, our retention is difficult to be able to retain so much information, even in an in-classroom setting. Depending on the environment, there are distractions and so on that are going on. So what's your perspective on, and what have you seen on even a seasoned leasing professional, why they would want to kind of keep up with this level of education?
Well, and a couple thoughts on that. First of all, because of COVID, we can do a show like this right now that'll probably get more eyes on it than it would have before. And because of COVID now, people are actually okay with webinars, which gives us a chance to jump in their day for 5 or 10 minutes with little quick tips. And that's one way I think that you can help, you know, a team all over the country be better prepared to use specials. And you mentioned, you know, what about the property that, you know, you've done your marketing work, you've positioned yourself price-wise, you understand your product and your competition, but some yo-yo down the street still giving a month free, you know, and that's causing another person to offer a concession. And suddenly, you know, concessions are being offered when they maybe don't really need to be. And we've had some fun with that. I mean, we have some, I think I may have sent you these, Jonathan, some classic responses, you know, but you know, you've got to make sure you do teach your staff how to say this so it doesn't sound like they're just, you know, being sarcastic. But I remember one time I was shopping a lady one time, and I just asked about her special. And she said, you know, right now we don't really have any specials. And I said, well, the guys across the street do. And she just looked at me and she said it in a kind of a deadpan, but not sarcastic way. She said, well, you know, I guess only they know what their apartments are worth. I thought it was a great response, you know, but also, you know, we give people scripts like, for instance, you know, they can say, well, I'm not permitted to talk about our competition, but I can tell you that we don't really have to offer specials, nor do we have, you know, the type of residents who move in and out of our community because of specials. And you nod your head knowingly, you know, and what you're doing is you're kind of putting doubt in the prospect's mind about why your competition has to offer specials. There's some fun statements that you can teach your staff. Like another one, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that special next door. Let me ask you, did they guarantee that your rental rate would remain the same at the end of your lease? Or did they tell you how much of an increase to expect? and again, you're just kind of getting the prospect to really think, why would someone offer a special unless perhaps it's inferior? It's all kinds of fun things, but you're correct. Training and continued reminding is important. And I love the fact that now you can jump on and do a 5 or 10-minute webinar with your team and make it fun. We've all learned how to do it better and how to do it more engagingly, and do some training, ongoing.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the visual I have, Rick and Mark. I'd love your thoughts on this too, because it's like, we don't want our leasing professionals to go into a situation where they are just reading a script and they're so robotic, like a telemarketer. Yes, welcome to Park Place Apartments, and we will have to show you our 2-bedroom that kind of robotic approach to selling. And then there's the other end, which everybody hates, and they're actually making some really funny commercials about right now, like Carvana is, like, this is not that experience, the being in a used car dealership experience where you're just in fear for your life. And are you ever going to be able to leave without walking out with a car you don't really want? The happy place in the apartment world is a leasing professional who is well educated, understands their community, understands the value, understands what they have to bring to the table, and is very comfortable in being able to present that. That's the visual I have. I don't know if that resonates with you.
Of course. Absolutely.
For sure. And for me, Jonathan, you're right. There are so many different types of salespeople that I avoid, like in the mall, the ones that are in the middle of the mall, the kiosks, and they're trying to sell you all this, what I call jib jab stuff. It's like, let me come to you. But the beautiful thing about what we do is your prospect came to your office because you have something they want. Right. And so if you are a savvy salesperson, then you will just use your personality, your charm, whatever, you're equipped with naturally to build rapport, I hope, and kind of feel and learn about what I call the generational selling. Who is your audience? Who is in front of you? What's motivating them? Is it price? And had you done all of the right questions ahead of time, or if they had called first, or if you're asking the right questions at that moment, the story is already being told. They're telling you everything that's going to motivate them along the way on the tour. And that's when you strike about the upselling, what makes this place the best. And if there is a way to consider something as special, like what Rick says, make your special special. I love that, because it may not be that you have a monetary discount that is a special, but if you're on a tour with someone who is very tech savvy, or, wants walkability or fun restaurants, then upsell that. Tell them about the appliances and what they might save with the appliances that you have. How many gallons of water does the water heater hold, and those kinds of things. Like, to me, a savvy salesperson always knows when to bring out that kind of charm. So I love it. It's interesting though to watch some people sort of do that robotic kind of script. I don't know what happens there, but again, Rick, I think it might be a lack of training. Who knows?
Well, I sure want anyone who might be watching this who wants to get better in sales and leasing, you can learn to be a better leasing professional. You really can.
That's right.
And no matter what your personality is. But I do want to go back to the fact that some human beings are built for selling. And those are the kind of folks that if you're a training director, if you're a property supervisor, a manager looking to hire, obviously leasing is a sales position. And that's the kind of person that we need to have in that seat. But one that has the capacity, Mark, here's what I call that, the capacity for relationship.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, they also care about people. And not all sales personalities do. I mean, the one on TV, Mark. I mean, Jonathan, you're right. It's the stereotype car salesman. Sorry, people that sell cars, and those are the folks we don't want to have on site. I wanted to mention too that being able to respond to a special or a request for a special does take some experience. And if someone is new in the industry, we don't want to discourage you because sometimes it's just a matter of learning from your own experience, mistakes, successes. And, again, trying to understand what's really important to the prospect is even more important than the special. And even someone that says, really all I care about is price, there's something else that's important to them. Otherwise they would be leasing at a flea bag, on the other side of town. So price isn't always the most important thing, even for those that say that's the price. One more thing that people do with specials is that it's kind of interesting, is a lot of operators really use a special when really maybe what's required is a rent adjustment. This is kind of an interesting phenomenon, but no one wants to lower their rent. I understand that. I get it. And right now, we're not lowering rents, are we? But sometimes what really needs to happen is that day of reckoning, and you and your marketing team and your experienced property management professionals need to get together and say, we're giving too much free. You reckon maybe our rents are too high? So what's going on here? That's just a thought. I want to throw that out. I don't want to leave the impression that specials have to be used in every market, but I do want to remind you that every market appreciates specials.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do when people really like specials? Let me just give you a couple ideas. I'll see what you think of this. Now, guys, you may think that's kind of crazy, but I love to offer specials that cost zero. And it's really easy. And I'm telling you, this is something that we do in lease ups. It's something that I've used in my company. And some of the simplest are ones you probably already thought of, but what do? You double your deposit. I hear the angels. Sorry. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard that or not.
No, we're good.
Good, cool, good. Okay. When you double your deposit and offer it for half off. You may think that sounds crazy, but why does Zales Jewelry Store have half off jewelry in December? It's because they've already tripled the price. And now they're offering half off. That's a great thing. Double the cost of any fee, your admin fee, your application fee, and offer it for half off. Waive your pet fees, maybe. Or better yet, double them. You know where I'm going with that, right?
Yeah.
If you're putting new appliance in, that's the special. Before you even show the apartment, even if that's what's happening in every unit, you say, look, you're going to figure out what our special is today when we walk in the door. But I want you to know right now, it's all about new. Come on, take a look. When they say, what's your special? Look at that dishwasher. Look at that refrigerator. Look at the new countertop. That's our special. We used to leave older carpet, or of course now we use more different kinds of floor covering, but we'd leave the older carpet in the unit so that the prospect would object. And we could say, something, for $25 more a month, I might be able to get new carpet for you. Let them agree.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and I'll talk with the manager. Just another way of offering a special that doesn't cost you anything. And then, of course, free rent on vacancies until official move-in day. I don't know why the industry doesn't do this more. My company manages single family homes. Now, we do contract leasing on apartments, but we manage single family. And if somebody wants to move in October 1 and they can pay for October's rent and the house is ready, I'll give them the rest of September free. I lose nothing. My owner loses nothing except somebody else is paying utilities. And frankly, somebody is watching and maintaining the unit and keeping it, safer. So there's all kinds of ways to really, do specials, I think, that don't cost you anything. It's one more thing is raising rent and adding the month free, with the difference actually being on the plus side over a 12 or 13-month lease. Did y'all catch that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's thinking, raise the rent, give the month free, but your increase is greater than the month free you gave away.
Right.
And that works. You know, that could even work in this environment right now, because people are still kind of used to that month free we've been offering everywhere, that we're getting away from because traffic has been so busy. We'll see what happens, you know, this winter, and we'll see what happens with COVID too, depending
Right.
on
well,
that dynamic.
You gave me another visual, Rick, too. You know, so we've had a couple of guests who have highlighted when they do recruiting as an example, that they will find people in coffee shops or in restaurants or in other like retail based industries, and like, okay, that person right there would make an awesome apartment leasing professional. And they let them know. I'm like, okay, so what are some of the things that are characteristic of it? And, you know, just watching people in those environments, it absolutely blows my mind. And I think apartment leasing is a lot like being an employee at Starbucks. You know, there's so many drink options, and there's so many options even within those individual beverages where the customer's like, I want a dash of this and a teaspoon of that, and I want that. And they have like this variety. And it takes skill on their part to be able to say, yes, I am going to put something together for you that you're just going to love. And they remember it. And they're like, yep, my barista there, they know what I like. And to me, the way you've described all these varieties and all these options, I feel like apartment leasing professionals are why they come from retail, perhaps, and into this industry, why they're so good at it, because it's like, they just can connect with the resident, the prospective resident, and have like that list of ingredients. Okay, what will this customer like, this potential resident like, so that it's going to close the deal. So anyway, that's my other visual for this show. I don't know if that resonates or not.
Well, have you ever seen Starbucks training program for a barista? You have.
Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
No, I mean, I hang out at one Starbucks a lot, and I listen and I watch, and I wrote some articles on how property management should be more like Starbucks. It's really interesting because they train. Mm-hmm. And you know, they give their people some freedom. You know, now they get to have tattoos. Remember when Starbucks didn't allow tattoos and they had to cover themselves up? So they're understanding who their workforce is, but they train, yeah. And they have systems in place where you can be successful. And that's another thing I think that maybe is something that our industry needs to continue to work toward is how to continue to provide training. Y'all have both mentioned that. Yeah. But yeah, the Starbucks folks a lot of times would be great leasing professionals. Yeah. And better hours too.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Not getting up at 5 a.m. to open that store. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. Like I knew it when we were doing our pre-show briefing, Rick, and just knowing you for as many years as I have, like what a great variety of just being able to help. Like, don't be scripted. My takeaways are, don't be scripted, understand your market, have the ingredients to what it's going to take to close the sale. Don't give it all away, and just focus on what the individual prospect needs, and be able to connect with them in order to provide specials that will make them feel special. That's my takeaway.
Yeah.
What you got, Mark?
Amen.
Yeah, no, perfectly said. It is. It's absolutely true. Everything that Rick's been talking about, we've all been talking about, it's golden. So like Rick said before, if anyone's listening that is new to the business, you can be an amazing salesperson in this industry. And, you know, hopefully you're in a company that offers training, or you are a self-motivator and maybe possess the skills of being a great salesperson. But that's what I think I love about this industry. There's always, you never stop learning. There's always a new way, a new angle, something, you know, really special to sort of keep your eye on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been great having you on the show, Rick. So just a couple more questions. So why do you love Mondays? I know that's a big deal for you. You have even shirts that say it. I'm pretty sure you have a coffee mug that says it too, right? So,
or 10.
Or 10, right. So what's the deal,
Yeah.
man? Why do you love Mondays? Tell us.
Okay, well, let me tell you, it is something that I talk about a lot, but it's really something that I love. And you can ask my team, sometimes I get so excited about Monday, I start texting them on Sunday, which isn't, I shouldn't do that. I know, I'm excited though, and so I'll email them instead. And if they read it on Sunday, I'm saying that wasn't my fault. You shouldn't have read your email. But here's the deal about Monday. Monday gives you a fresh start. It's a fresh start. I love what I do. And so if I've had some tough times the week before, if I've made mistakes, Monday is a do-over. And it's a day to celebrate last week's successes too. So you've got that going. Another thing about Monday is that you realize that if you want to resolve, if you want a resolution for your life, you don't have to wait till January 1. That's crazy. You got, in my opinion, every week a chance to have a new week resolution. Now, every day is too much even for me, but every week I can do that, And so that's some things I love about Monday. And also, it's so fun to wake up. I mean, Mark, it's fun to wake up, really, just to wake up.
Yeah.
It's fun to wake up and be alive, and go,
exactly.
Jonathan, I'm here.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. That's why I love Monday. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Today, it's like it's Labor Day week for you guys that are watching this later on. So yesterday was a Monday, and on Monday holiday weeks, we have two of them. I've got Monday, and then I've got Tuesday Monday, which is today. Woohoo.
2 Mondays in a week. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Man, I must be in heaven. Yeah.
See, we usually ask Rick, like, we want a quotable quote, or typically of our guests, like, what's your mantra? And then I already knew what yours was. I love Mondays. So I just wanted to fill that one in the blanks and put that out there. So thank you so much for being on the show. How can people connect with you? What's your website? Can people connect with you on any social channels?
Hey, ellisconsulting.com. ellisconsulting.com. I have a wonderful webmaster and designer.
Who'd that be?
He's the guy with the yellow green background there.
Yeah.
And yeah, catch us anytime. And we have a weekly quick tip, which I'll be happy to send to anyone who lets me know they'd like to have it.
Perfect.
ellisconsulting.com.
We'll make sure those are in the show notes. And I know you have a lot of classes and seminars that you teach on this subject and on other topics also. So for our audience, please do check that out. So thank you again, Rick. We look forward to having you again on a future episode. Mark, how can people connect with you, my friend?
Absolutely. So Howell Creative Concepts. Howell is spelled Howl, like Howl at the moon. And you can find me on LinkedIn, or my email address is mark@howellcreativeconcepts.com.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I know you have a ton of classes. You also teach for the industry. So always great to have our industry trainers on shows like this. This has been episode 42. My name is Jonathan Sarr, and we appreciate your support of this show and sharing it with your network. You can check it out on YouTube or on any of your favorite podcast stations. So we look forward to your feedback, and thank you for being a part of our community. We'll see everyone next time. Take care.
Bye, guys.